Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. Now I know this episode's going to be coming out a day later than scheduled, and that's mainly due to the fact that I've been building, and got wrapped up building. So we've got quite a bit of stuff done since the last episode. First up, if we come up to the third floor, I have like little balcony overlooks that kind of overlook the area. Also over here, I did start adding clutter, crates and stuff around. But we'll go out there in just a second. And then I also added a bunch more storage chests and, fluid. I added fluid tanks. And these are, I'm using the blood tanks because they store quite a bit and they're compact. And since we have blank slates automated, they're fairly easy to make. This is just storage for like odd liquids that, it's not like water, lava, liquid starlight, stuff like that we have a lot of. It's like ichor and basaltic magma, and then I don't have anything in that one right now, but just little odd liquids that we don't really have, automatic coming in, stuff like that. And then also I have a fourth floor up here. This is where, this is the roof, as you can tell, but this is where eventually we're going to have a lot of our AE2 or refined storage type infrastructure up on this top floor of the warehouse building. So, because I was putting the roof on there, and it ended up being a very large roof, and so I went ahead and made another floor up here. So this is what the top of it looks like, and it actually looks pretty cool from the like the aerial view. I don't know why it does this though. Like these are all the same blocks, it's all hempcrete, but it does that. But whatever, that's fine. And it's all lit up to keep mobs from spawning and all that good stuff. And that's what it looks like from the outside now. So, quite a bit different. Quite a bit. And it's that way on each side as well. So, and then if we go down to the dock area, that's what it looks like right now. It's not as finished as I wanted to get it, but that roof actually took a while. So, I decided I'm going to have some wall mounts coming out, probably right up in there, with like rope hanging down. I don't know that I'm going to do like an elevator that goes up and down, and that's simply due to the fact that if I start adding a bunch of elevators, it's not really good on TPS on the server. So I'm probably not going to have anything necessarily moving, unless I have like a lever or, a button or something like that where I can toggle it and move it up and down would be kind of cool. And this right here, this is actually the water that's coming from the water wheel system down here. And this is just something I spent a little bit of time working on this, but it's still got a little bit left to do. But the water kind of goes through here, underneath this little walkway area. And then I did a little bit of landscaping out here, doing pathways, stuff like that, up through here. And right up here, I stopped the road. I stopped doing the pit stone because the road actually has to be redone. It's going to go over on, like, in this direction, and then there's going to be a road that comes up from the docks and connects up to that road, and then it's going to enter the castle more from, like, right in here instead of all the way right over there. Because it was a little bit awkward right there because you walk, like, right in front of the pathways, and we're going to have, like, a little courtyard area out here on the castle. So I spent a bit of time working on that, and you can also see I actually I brought some of the exterior work up, so we have these, like, these pillar sections that go up, and that's actually part of, it kind of overlooks the courtyard up here, so I figured I'd bring that design up and continue that upwards. So, and it's actually put in over here, it's just the castle's so big it doesn't load everything at once. So, and then if we pop up, I did a little bit more exterior work, like right around there. I started framing in windows and stuff like that. I also started working on this section up here and bringing these pathways around. Still have a lot of work to do up here though. Oh, let's see. I also brought this up the way that it's going to go, and look at that. I started working on this big monstrosity. So, and this over here, we're going to be working in this area a bit today, but this is all kind of just temporary setup. This isn't going to stay this way, I don't think. But you can take a hoe, and with addons, you can actually take and do soul sand, iron sand, sand, and red sand. And if you just right click them, you can actually do like a Zen garden. So you can kind of like make curves and stuff. depending on which way that you hit it. And you can also make straight lines and whatnot. So you can have like the raked sand for like a Zen garden. So I was just kind of playing around with it over here, and then I've got a couple designs that I played around with in my test world. But right up through here, we're going to have a bunch of better with add-on stuff. But anyways, if we walk over here, I mean, it's basically just a shell at the moment of a tower on the back end of the castle. So it's a bit large. I did get all the underwater stuff done down here, so it goes all the way to the ocean floor. And then, how am I going to get out of here? I'll go over here. And then on this side, it does go all the way down to the ocean floor as well. And everything's cleaned up, so it looks like it actually connects down in to the bottom of the ocean floor. There's not any visible bits of like gravel or something that it's setting on. So, oh, that took a while actually. It's the exterior size like this floor, this section. Of course, it gets smaller right there, but this section is 55 by 55 diameter on the circle, so it's fairly large. It took a lot of castle bricks. There is going to be some other colors. I mean, you can see I've left some of this open, but this little base part's just all castle bricks, and then I'll probably do some little designs down through there. But yeah, that's where a lot of time went, is on this and the roof. This and the roof was a lot of it. But over here, we're going to have a lot of our stuff for the liquid processing and stuff like that. So hopefully this will be done enough that we can start using it by, I should say, next episode. So, and then hopefully this area right here is going to have a lot of work done too, because this is all going to be a lot of decorative stuff, like all this little lower section. It's going to be a lot of decorative, better with add-on stuff. And then actually this pathway that leads out here, it's going to be kind of like a wind tunnel, or not a wind tunnel, a breezeway that kind of crosses over, and it's going to have a little bit of better with add-on stuff. Kind of bring that, I want to do kind of like little Zen garden type feel to this area with like bamboo and rocks and greenery and raked sand and water and stuff like that. And then I want to carry that on through the breezeway. So as you're going through here, it's going to have like a little like water stream that kind of goes through, and you know, some bamboo planted and stuff like that. I think it would be kind of nice. And then if we pop over here just really quick, we have lots of bamboo. We have 128 stacks of bamboo, so I think we're good on that for right now. We have wool, around 38, 37 stacks of each color. And then white wool we have like 55, yellow we have 43, red we have 47. So I mean, some of these have a bit more, but I think we have plenty of wool of every color to last us a while. And it's constantly going up. I mean, those carts just keep harvesting. So and then like cactus sugarcane, we've got 465 stacks of sugarcane, 384 stacks of cactus. We've got lots of wood. I did expand those drawers. I ended up making just a straight up stack of drawer upgrades, like gold drawer upgrades, and just upgrading like crazy. So we got 512 stacks of sticks at the moment, 32.8 thousand sticks. I don't think we're going to be running out anytime soon. And then also, like, I know sawdust. We've got a lot of sawdust over here. 213 stacks. Also, I did connect up our meal. I went ahead and connected that up to the sorting system. So whenever we cut stuff down in this meal and it gets picked up, it will automatically get pulled out and then dumped into the sorting system. So that way, if I want to cut up some of these like other wood types for planks, I can do that and not have to, you know, go back and check it. It'll just get deposited into the appropriate drawers. Anyways, let's go ahead and push on into what we're going to be doing today, which we are going to be working on the better with add-on stuff. And I will say, I mean, the main thing we're going to be doing with these right now is going for basically just a couple decorative things. We will be going over some other features, but I really feel like the better with add-on stuff, I don't know why in this pack it was pushed all the way to age 3, because like age 3 is kind of like the industrial age, right? So you're making like guns and flamethrowers and doing all these like super advanced machines, and or not super advanced machines, but you know, like industrial age machines. But I feel like the better with add-on stuff is like, you know, it's like feudal Japan. So I don't really understand why it wasn't put into like age 1 or at the latest like age 2, like why it was pushed all the way to age 3 before you can use it. I don't know. It's beyond me, because like the katana and stuff would have been really, really cool in Age 1. It's like a weapon, because it's something that you really have to work up to, because there's a lot involved with making it. But it would have been a really good weapon in Age 1. But like now we have this super weapon that does 33.5 damage. So I don't know how extensively we're going to use the stuff aside from the decorative stuff, but I still want to go over it because it's kind of overlooked, I feel like. Alright, so anyways, what we're going to do, we got our bamboo last episode, and we talked about, you know, Japanese ancestry. I got 19 bottles of that, and then I got that, the soul infusers filled up and everything. So today we're going to be continuing on with that. And the first thing that I want to work towards is the netted screen. Now there's a few things that we're going to need before we can get to the netted screen, however. You can see that it takes bamboo slats, and then it takes string or twine, or, yeah, string or twine, or flame string. And then you can see it requires 2 ancestral spirits. And actually, one thing I forgot to show you guys last episode, I think I forgot to show it to you. If you right-click the infused soul sand, you can see like this contains 45 spirits. So if you want to know exactly how many spirits you have in your soul sand, that'll tell you. So, anyways, the netted screen, we are going to have to get bamboo slats, and this requires us to make soaked bamboo, which requires bamboo ran through a soaking unit. So we're going to start with that, the cherry wood soaking unit. And for this, we're going to have to get sakura wood planks or siding. I'm just going to do planks probably. And then iron bars. And I'm not for sure. I think we've got sakura wood, right? Yeah, 9 sakura wood. And let's make sure this can actually get cut down. It can. That's great. By the way, there's a weird bug where if you put like siding into the block placer, it doesn't place it, but it still uses it. I only noticed it in the most recent version, so just a heads up. It's some sort of a bug. Okay, so for the drying units, I want to go ahead and make a few of these, actually. No, we're doing the soaking unit. But we might as well go ahead and make the drying unit as well. And I'm going to make 4 of each of these to start with. Okay, so I've got everything that we need, and this is the first time that we've actually used the Ancestral Infuser for crafting. So what we're going to do is the cherry wood soaking unit. We'll start with that. Oops. Okay, I found the problem. I can't have blocks underneath it either. It does need the, you know, a block in each direction cleared, and that also includes below the infused soul sand. I was thinking it was just the cardinal directions away from it. So, okay, so now you can see the orb is turned bright red. So that's great. That means we should be able to craft this. Let's do that. And there we go. Cherry wood soaking unit. Let me go ahead and make 3 more of these, because I want to go ahead and make 4 of all the items. Apparently it doesn't have to be correctly set up for you to be able to make like bamboo and stuff. If I put a light, okay, a light source does mess it up as well. So light will not work with it, in fact. But you can still make bamboo, you know, you can throw stuff on top of it and it'll work. You just can't use the crafting grid aspect of it, which we do want that, so. And then there is 4 cherry wood drying units. Now you'll notice it did say 1 right there on both the cherry wood soaking and the cherry wood drying units. That basically means that it consumed 1 soul, so now we have, or 1 spirit, so now we have 33 spirits in there. But anyways, now that we've got this, let's take a look at the drying unit and the soaking unit. We're going to go set these up. Let me actually pop up here. The soaking unit doesn't really matter where you put it. The drying unit, it is better in hotter climates. That was a skeleton. He can't hit me. Alright. And then he just vanished. Oh, there he is. But the drying unit is better in hotter climates, so I am going to set it up in the desert, since we do have a desert setting, you know, right over near us. Might as well. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just put the soaking units in that same desert as well. So I'll grab a bit of ice. Let me go ahead and get 4 pieces of sandstone. And we'll just pop over here. And let's, oh, let me go get some bamboo too. Almost forgot about that. And I'm going to go ahead and get a lot of bamboo. I've got a lot of bamboo, so I might as well do a bunch of this at a time. So I'm going to grab 4 stacks of bamboo. And then let's head over to the desert. And I guess we'll set up these soaking units first. And the soaking units may eventually get set up within the castle. Once I get that little area built out. But for right now, they do take up a lot of space. Because it's like a 3x3 that they need. So for right now, I'm going to stick them down in the desert with the heating units. And then, you know, we'll move them later on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our soaking units and we're going to put these down right here. And then we're going to remove these blocks underneath them. And you can put these pretty much anywhere. A river is probably best, in truth. But I'm going to put them over here. And these things can actually share sides as well. So, oops. I'm going to put one right there. And you need to make sure you have a 3x3 that's cleared out underneath it and above it as well. Okay, so there we go. We have a nice little area here, 5x5 area, 5x5x3. And then what we're going to do is let's take our water sigil. And let me just throw this stuff into there. And we're going to go ahead and fill this thing up with water. And you don't actually have to, it doesn't have to be still water, it can be flowing water, that's fine. We'll just do this. And I don't know if I can leave that open or not. We're about to find out. We're going to try it. And then the last thing we need to do is put ice on top of these. They do require ice setting on them. Just like that. And now if we put bamboo into this, it's not going to work. It needs more stuff. Okay, so now it displays like this little water symbol. So if we put bamboo into this, it's going to start running. And let's go ahead and put bamboo in each of these. And what it's going to do is it's going to turn this bamboo into soaked bamboo. And there are some other recipes that you can use this for. You can use it for soaked rice, wet sponges, and then you can also soak tea leaves. And it was brought up in the comments that the tea leaves, the tea seeds are not obtainable. It's just a bug. So we will probably end up cheating those in so that I can show you tea. So we're not really, I don't think we're going to be using tea too extensively because we have the Between Lands Brewing, which I don't know of anything that really beats out Between Lands Brewing, sadly, because it's just so powerful. But I will show that to you guys, though. Okay, so now that that's in place, I want to set up our drying units, because now we're starting to get this soaked bamboo. Now, these do take a little bit to run, so if you have multiples, it is ideal. That's why I went ahead and set up 4 of these, because I'm going to want a lot of that bamboo going ahead and drying, or soaking. So, and then if we take a look at the... let's get this out. If we take a look at the drying unit, that's all it shows for the soaking unit, but it does require that water. It has to be fully submerged in water. The drying unit shows this right here, and the little dead bush right there is required. So just a heads up. But the way I tend to set these up is I'll do another 5x5. And you can expand on these. I mean, eventually I may have more of these. We'll see. One of the sad things is with this, it has to be fully submerged and covered in water. So we can't connect nodes to this. Because even if you connect like on the bottom or the side or something like that, it's still not going to run. It does need full water around it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have 4 little 2-deep holes, and we're going to put sandstone down in each of these. And like I said, it is better if you put this in like a desert or some kind of other hot biome. And this one does have to see the sky. So it does have to be outdoors or glass above it or something like that. And then all we have to do is put our drying units down in there. And then we need a dead bush. And I should have shears on me. And there's a dead bush. And if you notice, there's like a little sun symbol right here, and it's not lit up. If you put the dead bush in the center, there we go. It's now lit up. That means it can dry. It can dry stuff. And if you take a look, you can do rice hay, mulberry pulp, bamboo slats. You can also dry out sponges, wilt tea leaves, and that's it. So that's what that's for. Let's go ahead and get all of our soaked bamboo that we've got. Looks like 8 pieces per soaking unit right now. See, it does take a little while for that stuff to run, but it's not terrible, really. And we'll go ahead and get these things drying. There we go. And they're going to turn into bamboo slats. And I don't know. My chunk loader is right there. If I moved it over... Yeah, let me move this chunk loader real quick. I'll set it right in there. That way it loads this little area up. Keeps it running. Okay, so now that that stuff's running, we're getting our bamboo slats. There we go. And if we open this up, you can see that we can make Yumi bow. This is Yumi top and bottom. Basically, this is a bow. It's actually a pretty strong bow, but one of the downsides is it does have to be held down for quite a while. It does take a while to pull back. It's like a long bow. It does do a lot of damage, though. And it does use a special arrow, which is called a yaw. This right here. And they're decently cheap to craft once you get everything up and going, because it does require this yaw head, which you can see, I mean, it takes some metals that we're going to be getting into here in just a little bit. And they make 12 per craft. I mean, I guess technically they're kind of expensive at first, but it's really not that bad once you get everything up and going. So, but what I want right now is the bamboo slats. And the reason being is because we can actually make netted screens with that. Which, as I said, this is the first thing that I really want to go for right now, because it kind of leads into everything else. There's also, you can make a shinai, which is kind of like a training sword. I mean, you can see it doesn't actually do any damage, has 0 attack damage, but it's just kind of like for sparring, basically. And then we can also make screens, which these are really, really awesome. This is one of the major decorative blocks that I want to make. This and iron sand. It's like the two big things that I want to make right now. For decorative purposes, because iron sand is basically like a sand, but it's blue, and you can do raked sand with it. It's really, really pretty sand. And then the screens are just awesome. they're excellent. They're actually probably the best. I mean, I know that well, actually, Chisel used to have its own screens that you could do, and actually Better with Add-ons adds paper walls. I actually forgot about those, but the screens from Better with Add-ons are 100 times better. They're excellent. Let me get some more of this stuff running. Eventually, we're going to need a lot of this stuff. Like, a lot of it. And, sadly, the drying unit, you know, that there was the, like, industrial drying unit right here. You can't actually use this for, like, the bamboo slats. So, which is kind of a disappointment. You can use it for the mulberry pulp, but I don't think it's really, really worth it to the mulberry pulp, because now that we're into Better with Add-ons, we can make these mulberry sheets, and then we can actually put them through a netted screen and get 9 washi. Whereas before we were only getting 1 washi per mulberry sheet. Now we get 9 times as many. So we'll be making some of those here soon, because we're actually going to need quite a bit of washi with the Better with Add-on stuff, because we do need that for the screens. The Shoji and the Fusuma screens. Which the Fusuma is really, really cool. We'll get into that here pretty soon. But anyways, we got the stuff that we need to make the netted screens. These right here. So let's pop over. Let me go get some string. And I'm going to start with 3 netted screens. They actually work pretty quickly. We may end up adding a few more, but I think for starting out, 3 of these is going to be great, because we can do all 3 multi-blocks. There's a lot of, like, Better with Add-ons has a lot of in-world crafting, if you couldn't tell. It is a lot of in-world crafting. Okay, so there is our 3 netted screens. Dun, dun, dun. And there's some really cool stuff that we can do with this. So if you take a look in the book at the netted screen, you can see there's actually a sand funnel, a filter, and a melter. We're going to start with the sand funnel, because this is used to make the iron sand. And I guess for right now, I'm going to set these up. I'm just going to set up all of our little multi-blocks over here. And like I said, I will probably end up moving them into the castle area. Let me actually pop up here. Let me go sleep. Get rid of this nighttime. I will probably end up moving them into that castle area, in that little Better with Add-ons area. But for right now, I haven't got all that laid out. And I was kind of waiting on the screens and the iron sand before I did get it laid out. So we'll be able to take care of that this episode, and hopefully get all these moved in. But they're fairly large. That's the only reason I haven't. I'm not going to move them in there just yet, because they're fairly large and they have like a lot of water and stuff like that. Now, once we get into the ovens here in a minute, chances are I will probably put those within the castle for right now. I really hate that the wild dog pelts are now, they work with looting. Like, it's one thing that really upsets me about this pack is, like, everything that's, like, something that you work towards, like the wild dog pelt boots and the journey map in Age 2 and stuff like that, and the Ring of Levitation and stuff like that. It seems like every patch something's getting easier. I don't know. It bothers me. It bothers me inside, but whatever. Okay, so anyways, we can make, is it not? Okay, it's like that. We're going to need to make a few of these bamboo slat blocks. We actually need 9 of them. So I'm going to need a little bit more. That's fine. That's why we brought over as much as we did. Okay, so there is 9 bamboo slat blocks. And then what we're going to do is, let's dig ourselves out another 3x3 multi-block. And this one, I'm actually just going to lay it out. Well, let's go ahead and do it 2 down. That'll be good. And then we're going to take our bamboo slat block. We're going to put 1 down right here, and then we're going to put water around this. And I believe flowing water actually does work, but I'm just going to do solid water because it's easy. And then we're just going to do bamboo slat blocks around like that, and then take one of our netted screens and put that on top. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So what we're going to do to get our first bits of iron sand, this stuff is semi-expensive-ish. It's not really that bad in truth, but it could be considered expensive, I guess. And I will probably end up automating this. I'm not going to do it on camera. It's very, very simple. All you need is a dropper dropping the stuff into this, and then a filtered ender hopper, you know, attached to like a drawer that's collecting iron sand, and there you go, it's automated. So, and that's pretty much true for all of the netted screen stuff. It's actually not that difficult to automate. These are probably the worst thing, I think, to automate, because you can't really attach anything to them. Phantom faces would be easy to automate the soaking unit with. So next, I think it's next stage we get phantom faces, maybe. So we might look into automating some of that stuff, but we'll see. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to take, if you look at the netted screen, you can look at it in JEI here. You can see this is all the recipes available for the netted screen. This setup that we have right now, this little multi-block, only makes iron sand. That's all it does. So 8 pieces of sand and 3 iron is going to get us 1 iron sand. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and throw in, say, 24 sand. And then we can throw our iron in. And there we go. You can throw them all in at the same time. We just got 3 pieces of iron sand. Okay. So now that we've got that, the next thing we need to do as far as processing that is we have to run it through the Tatara, which we'll get into that in just a second. That's a new multi-block that we have to do. But this iron sand, if we were to put this stuff down, like, that's what it looks like. It's like a really blue sand, and look at that. I love the color of the rake sand with that. I am planning on using that up in the castle, because my castle, I mean, this almost looks like crag rock as far as the coloring. So it would be really, really good. The soul sand that I have up there, it's a little bit too brown. It kind of matches with the ferrocolite, so I may end up using it some places. I did try red sand up there. It doesn't look good at all. I'm not going to use red sand up there. But I think just like the yellow sand, like if you look at that, like that looks good. The iron sand looks really, really good, and then the soul sand in certain places will look pretty good. So I think that's the 3 sand types that I want to have raked up in the castle. And I think it'll look nice. But let's go ahead and cover the other 2 multi-blocks that we can do with the netted screen. There is the sand funnel. Not the sand funnel, the filter. And this is for making washi, sashimi, and fugu. And so if we take a look here, you can see, and you can also break down iron sand. If you put iron sand in, you get back your iron and your sand blocks. But then raw fish makes sashimi. And then there is pufferfish, which makes fugu sack, and then fugu. And then you can also cook fugu. And then we can do the washi 9 times right there. And then we can also do tea-related stuff, which we'll get into later on. So let's go ahead and set this thing up. And this requires, we're going to make another little multi-block here. A lot of in-world crafting. A whole lot of in-world crafting. Okay, so for this multi-block, we're going to have Sakura wood planks go down in, like that, in a 3x3, hollow in the middle. And then right in the middle, we're going to put down some water. There we go. And then above that, we are going to have, we're going to need more of these slat blocks. So we're going to need 8 of these. And we'll just set those down like that. And then in the very center, we're going to have our netted screen. There we go. Okay, and so for this, what I want to make is I want to make washi. And sadly, like, okay, the mulberry sheets, the mulberry pulp, the soaked mulberry bark, you can actually make, like I said, in the industrial drying unit. We're probably just going to use the drying units because they're pretty fast. Industrial drying unit might be a little bit faster, but not by all that much. And then there's the soaked mulberry bark, which sadly, there's like the industrial soaker or whatever it's called, but you can't do soaked mulberry bark in that. So you have to do the wooden basin method. So I'm going to do that real quick. Let me pop over. I don't think I have any mulberry bark on hand, but I can make some easily enough. I should have mulberry wood over here. Okay, I've got a bunch of bamboo slats now. I'm just waiting for this mulberry bark to dry. It really doesn't take that long. These drying units are actually kind of nice, especially if you have a bunch of them. And I was thinking, I can't really fully automate them until I have a item routing system that can input and output from the same location. So it would probably maybe be next age. I know XNet's pretty late into the pack, but I imagine there's something in the next age. Mechanism, I think, can do it, and that might be H5. I'm not for sure, but let's see. There's also Buildcraft pipes, but those really can't, and immersive engineering can't really. So, yeah. Anyways, there's 2 mulberry sheets, and then what we can do is we can run these through the netted screen over here that we set up. So if we just drop this on the top. It'll take just a second, and they actually get deposited into the water beneath there. So if I throw on the magnet, there we go. There's 9 washi. Really doesn't take very long. Yeah, it's like instant. It does get deposited into the water down below, but you can put like a hopper down there to collect the items or something like that, you know. This one can be easily automated because you can just have a dropper that drops the stuff on there and then the hopper on the bottom that collects it. So... Alright, but there's 18 washi. It's actually really easy to make this stuff now. If you recall, it used to be really painful to do because we had to do it 1 mulberry sheet, which was 4 mulberry pulp made 1 washi. But now we can make 9 times as many, so quite useful. And then there's one other multi-block that I want to show you guys. My uses for it aren't quite as heavy at the moment. That is the iron scales, the melter. Netted screen system, which I don't know. We can make a lamelier, but it's not. Oh, it's not used for anything at the moment. There's some armor that's added within the pack, and I think the lamelier is meant to be used for that. But it's not. It's not in here. So the only armor here is the paper armor. Paper lamelier. I think the lamelier is probably used. Maybe for the samurai armor, which of course, like I said, is a work in progress. And then I think there's a hardened leather armor, some kind of tough leather, hardened leather, something like that, that I think that's probably used for. I believe that's from Better with Add-ons, if I recall. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and set one of these up, though, just to do it, just in case you're playing a pack. That way you're like, okay, well, I know how to do that. So let me warp over. I'm going to need 8 stone bricks. Okay, so for the melter, we're going to have 8 stone bricks down just like that. Then right here, you can either have fire or lava. I've just got a bucket of lava. I'll just put that down. Either works fine. It's all the same. And then we're going to need 8 bamboo slat blocks. Use a lot of bamboo slats, as you can tell. That's why I wanted to get it automated last episode. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Bamboo slats like that, and then we're going to put down our netted screen right there. And then if we take iron sand and we toss it down in there, there we go. We get iron scales. Like I said, we don't really have a ton of use for them at the moment in this pack, but Sadly, they weren't. I kind of wish this stuff had been implemented into like recipes, and like I said, I wish it had been added in to like age 1 or age 2, you know, something like that would have been really, really nice. But anyways, let me go ahead and make up some more iron sand real quick. Okay, so there's 16 iron sand. That'll be great. That will work. Okay, so that is pretty much all the netted screens, the drying units, the soaking units, all that stuff. We've covered all of that. And let me go ahead and get the last bit of this soaked bamboo running that we made. There we go. And that'll be, we'll have 2 stacks and 16. So, I mean, we used 1 3/4 stacks of bamboo slats already. So, okay, so now that we've covered all of that stuff, let's turn our attention to the let's start with the shoji and fusuma first. So the fusuma, this one's my favorite. This one is bamboo slats, washi, and then sakura wood planks. And the shoji is just washi and bamboo slats. Okay. Well, let me go get some sakura planks. And each craft makes 4. Okay, I've only got 2 sakura. I'll have to get some more of those, but that'll be fine for right now. And then we've got washi. Let's see, in this pack, I wonder if we'll use lapis or if we'll use dye powder or how that'll work. I'm going to grab lapis. Because it doesn't actually, from what I recall, it's been a little while since I've done this, but from what I recall, it doesn't actually consume the dye. It's just used to set it, basically. But let's go ahead and craft ourselves out this. And each craft of this requires... Oh, we don't actually have to do it in here. My bad. Alright, so for Suma, let's go ahead and get 2 crafts of those. And then we've also got the shoji. We'll get 2 crafts of those. And we're pretty much out of washi now. So shoji, the way this works is if you set this stuff down, it connects up like fences. And look at that. Makes a nice shoji wall print. Which is kind of nifty. But that's really all there is to this. I mean, you can't click it with dye or anything like that. But then you can take the Fusuma. And this one's a little bit cooler, I think, because you can actually use dye on it. And it's really, really nifty. So if you set this stuff up and you right-click it with dye, you can actually do, like, designs on it. So, like, that is... whoops. So if we click through here... there we go. That is the Great Wave of, Kanagawa. So you can have that design on there. You can also do, like these, Mount Fuji type design, which is actually 3 wide as well, because it's got like this little connected part. And then you can do, let me cycle back through here. You can do this little design, which is like cherry blossoms. And then, of course, you can copy these over, you know, and have like just a wall of like cherry blossom designs. And then there's also this, which you can do this, which kind of adds like a little border. And then, which is actually like the top. Yeah, I think it's this part that it was showing. So you can do these, and then you can do the rising sun symbol as well. So you can kind of play around with these and make like little designs on your walls and stuff like that. They're actually kind of nifty. And then of course you can just have them, you know, just the plain white design as well. And then if you had like plain white walls and then just like pictures in specific spots and stuff like that. I mean, they're just kind of fun to play with. The color of dye doesn't really do anything, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't consume the dye. So you can just do it with like lapis or rose red or whatever. But they are kind of a nifty block to use, and I want to use these for decorating a bit up here, in addition to the bamboo and the, you know, the Zen garden sand and everything. So, but I'm gonna have to craft up a bunch of those. They're not terribly expensive at this point since washi crafts so many at a time. They're not too bad. And then next up, let's go ahead and cover the tatara. This right here, it's like a furnace. It's a Japanese style furnace. And so the way this works is we're going to need to get ourselves 8 clay blocks. And I'm going to go ahead and set up like 2 of these, I think. And I would like to have 2 of them, ideally. And then we're also going to need to get ourselves, it'll be 2 iron blocks per setup. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves 4 iron blocks. And then we're going to have to craft ourselves the Tatara, which is this right here. It does require, it requires a diamond. Luckily we've got some of those, because otherwise we wouldn't even be able to do this. Like, I don't understand why the, like, okay, if we didn't, like, exploit, like, ways to get diamonds in this pack, you wouldn't be able to get the Tatara, which means you couldn't make the katana and stuff until, like, age 5. Like, I feel like, I mean, I love this pack and everything, but I feel like the Better with Add-ons, especially Better with Add-ons, as well as a couple other mods, I feel like they could have been implemented just slightly better so that they made a little bit more sense. It would have been nice anyways. But anyways, we're going to cover them, and hopefully, I'm hoping to see Better with Add-ons pop up in other packs and, like, use a little bit better. Because, like, aqueducts were made available, like, early on, and what, like, a couple little odd and end things, and then, of course, there's been, like, karate zombies wandering around, but as far as, like, the bulk of Better with Add-ons, it wasn't available until age 3, and then if you didn't have diamonds, it wouldn't, like, a lot of it wouldn't be available until age 5. So, like, the whole smelting system and everything wouldn't be available. I don't know. And we're already at this, like, strange part where it's like, the katana wouldn't really benefit me at all as far as, like, weapon damage goes. This requires 4 ancestral spirits. We have 27, so that'll be alright. Let's go ahead, get this thing laid out. There we go. 2 Tataras. We've got that. We've got our iron blocks. We've got our clay. We also need... do I have flint and steel on me? By chance? I don't. Okay, I got our flint and steel and a couple pieces of low-grade charcoal. And we're going to set these up. What is this? This is wide enough. We could put them in here. We'll put a piece of low-grade charcoal right there. And then we'll put a piece right there. That'll be good. And then we'll go ahead and bring this up. Put our clay down right there. And we're going to bring this around like so. And then on this side, these we might as well go ahead and put them into the castle because they don't actually take up that much space. And we might as well go ahead and have them in here. We're also going to need some stone bricks. That's fine. And then we're going to have blocks of iron. You actually need 2 of these. I know in the picture, if you look at the schematic, it kind of looks like there's just 1 block of iron, but it's actually 1 on each side. So you do need 2 blocks of iron for this. And then let me pop over here. And this stuff is mainly used for, like, the weapons and stuff like that, but you'll also need it for the nabe for making tea, which we'll get into that stuff. It'll probably be next episode before we get into the tea making, I imagine. Because we will be covering a little bit of Better with Add-ons next episode. I came over here for this right here. So we actually only need 8 stone bricks, only 4 per. And then we're also going to need to get ourselves some rice flour, so we might as well go ahead and get that stuff going. So it's this right here, the Better with Add-ons rice flour. And we can make this with rice stalks from Better with Add-ons. Also rice ran through the millstone. There's also the industrial meal with the rice stalk. Which actually, that's something that we haven't made yet, is the rice seeds. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Of course, we have the actually additions rice seeds, but we don't have the Better with Add-ons rice. So I want to go ahead and get that. And that way we can smelt it instead of running it through the thing as well. Let me go ahead and get like 10 of these. I've got plenty of Japanese ancestry, so that'll be fine. Oh yeah, it'll work. It'll work if I just throw stuff on there. So we'll go ahead and toss those on there. And there's 1 rice seed. We've got 10 spirits, so we should be able to do this. Let me just get off of there. There we go. Okay, we got common rush and rice. So 5 and 5. Okay, that's fine, because I need the common rush anyways. Alright, let's pop over here to the little farm area, and we're going to set up a couple new crops. This is another thing, like, I don't understand why it's so late into the pack that you get access to, like, all this stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Let's go ahead and get this stuff planted out. And I'm going to do a decent-sized farm for these. I don't want chili pepper and tomato seeds. Alright, let's go ahead and plant down our rice. And then we'll plant down our common rush. Because we're actually going to need some of this stuff as well. If I recall anyways. I think we need it for something at some point. Common rush right here. Yeah, tatami mats. If you want to make tatami mats, you need common rush and rice hay. So rice stalks through the drying unit makes you rice hay. We'll actually cover those too because I do want some of those for this little area as well. Let me get out the... Oops, not that. Let me get out the watering can. Yeah, I tell you what. Actually, the sigil of the green grove, this has worked in my test world ever since the most recent update. So if we just throw that on, we should see this stuff growing a bit faster. Still takes a while. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get some rice from this farm, and I'll go ahead and run this stuff through the millstone, because I'm going to want a bunch of this rice flour. I don't necessarily need a ton of it right now, but I would like to go ahead and put a decent amount inside of those our furnaces, so I'll go ahead and get a bit of it made. And this stuff, I'm actually just going to toss it down. I don't want it. I'll tell you what, I'm probably just going to go grab some bone meal, because I've only got 42 stacks of bones. Oh, and by the way, the telepositions. Okay, so I had this really cool idea, and I think I'm gonna start implementing it pretty soon. But the telepositions, if you recall, I said I was wanting to do like labels on them that tell like where they teleport to. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do pictures, and so it'll have like I'll do like my custom paintings with Bibliocraft. I'll do custom paintings, and I'll just take a picture of where it teleports to, like the blood magic area and stuff like that, and have pictures over the teleposition stuff that show like, okay, this teleports, you know, to there or whatever. I think it'll be kind of nice. Alright, so we've got some common rush seeds here that are fully matured, so we'll go ahead and break those off. And you can see that we got common rush seeds and common rush. And I believe there's a chance, if I recall, there should be a chance to get additional seeds. But if not, I mean, they're fairly easy to make. So, the common rush, it wouldn't let me right-click to harvest. So, but I want quite a bit of this rice. And you can see that I'm getting rice and rice stalks. Rice we can use to make soaked rice, to make cooked rice, and then the cooked rice you can make bowl of rice, which actually has a decent amount of hunger and saturation that it restores. So, not a bad food. And then common rush is really just for making tatami mats. So, yeah, see, I can't harvest it with a right click like I can the rice. I actually have to break it off. Oh, which is kind of bad because I'm not getting back the, I didn't get back a seed. Seems like most of the time I'm getting back a seed. Just, I'm never getting like 2 though. That's the problem. We might try putting these in a cloche, because a cloche might work with them. I'll have to test it out, because I'm wanting to get into cloche farming quite a bit here soon. Originally, I was thinking about doing it with Steve's carts, like a lot of our farming, but I think we've covered Steve's carts enough, and I think cloches would be, you know, just a little bit more compact. So I'll probably do like a cloche room, and I've actually got a place planned out for where I'm gonna put the cloche room at. So, anyways, we got 17 common rush. That'll make us a decent amount of tatami mats, and then I can always make more seeds. And like I said, I'm gonna try it with the cloches. So I've got to go into my test world and see exactly what all crops work with cloches in this pack and which ones don't. And then we'll set us up a cloche room. Not quite like it was on Craft of the Titans. That was like the biggest cloche room ever. But cloches on this pack aren't quite as OP as they were on Craft of the Titans. And besides, we don't have mystical agriculture at the moment anyways. So, alright, so we got our rice stalks, we got rice. I'm just going to put this rice away for right now. And then we've got these. I'm going to go ahead and put these through the drying units. I love these drying units. They're just so good. Especially once we get them like fully automated. I mean, they're pretty nice. They work a lot faster than like those TC drying racks. I mean, I think the industrial dryer would be a little bit faster, but the industrial dryer suffers from not being able to be used for a lot of the stuff, strangely enough, whereas the drying units seem to work fairly well for most things. Okay, so we got 31 rice flour at the moment. There's 32. That'll be good. And then we need one other thing, and that is I need 18 nether bricks. Because you do need nether bricks on the top. We're going back into the furnaces now. I know we took a little bit of a detour from those, but we had to get a couple things in order first. And let's go ahead and light the fire underneath this before we put in the Tatara. That goes right here and right here. And then we're going to have our stone bricks setting right there on the corners. And then right here. And you have two different sides that you can access the Tatara from. I mean, it does need the valid multi-block and everything for it to work. Like right now, if I was to put in this and iron sand, you can see it doesn't do anything. Because we need the nether bricks on top. So we'll do that. And then what we'll do is we'll put in half of our rice flour right here. Because you do need that as a fuel. And then we're going to put in half of our iron sand. And there we go. It's going to start running. And then we'll do the other half over here. And these things, I mean, they're not super fast, but they're not super slow either. I mean, it's not like making steel in a blast furnace. You know, it's faster than that. But they do take a little bit of time to run. Yeah, you can see that one's only halfway through the first bit of iron sand there. That's fine. Let me pop over here. Let me go check on our rice stalks. Because some of those should be done and we can do the tatami mats. Because those are also really, really cool. There we go. Rice hay. Lots and lots of rice hay. Okay, so rice hay and common rush. And we can get ourselves our first bits of tatami mats. And the way these work is if you lay these down, you can actually lay them down as a single block or a 2x1. So if I right click this down, you can see it makes like a 2 wide tatami. But if I was to put down another one right here, it just makes it 1 block. So, and then I could pull this up and do like that and make like single block tatami floor or double tatami. So these things are kind of nice. They're really nice for doing like floors and stuff like that because they just look good and they're like an alternative carpet, you know, especially in like any kind of a Asian style build. You know, this mod is built for that. Like honestly, it's tempting for me to add this to Exoria because I'm planning on doing like a really Asian themed build, I think. So I'm on the fence about adding it to that pack. I'm like kind of like maybe, I don't know. Okay, but anyway, some of this iron sand has been smelting up. And we've got ourselves some blocks that are called Kara. Let's go ahead and grab these out. And the processing begins. This actually has quite a few steps to it. Okay, it all finished up. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this Kara and we're going to lay it out. Just on the ground like this. And then we're going to take our pick and we're going to break it. And what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 items from it. It's going to be, because we used 3 iron to make it, right? We used 8 sand, 3 iron to make the iron sand. So we got, in this case, we got 2 tamahagane, and then we got 1 piece of iron. And then if we break another one here, there we go, we got 1 hocho tetsu, and then 1 more tamahagane, and then iron. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just break all this and see what all we get. We got 14 pieces of iron, 15 tamahagane, and 9 hocho tetsu. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take this stuff, and I believe the first step for each of these is just smelt it. Yeah. We need to make the heated versions of these. So we're going to throw them into here. I don't think, yeah, you have to do it in the Tatara. You can't do it in a standard furnace. And we're going to give this stuff just a little while. And I was actually just editing footage, and while I was editing footage, I actually crafted up a full stack of garden cloches. It's a little bit insane. I didn't use nearly as many as I made, but we should be able to use those for mystical crops like midway through age 5. So I really don't mind making those. Plus, I have lots of vacuum tubes now. So I'll end up using those for something. Because I actually just did a stack craft of vacuum tubes. But what I was working on was I was actually setting up a garden cloche room over here. You can see I've actually got, through here I've got these filled out. Sadly, the rice seeds and the rush seeds from, I haven't tested the other rush, like the ones that we used for making the thatch. But the rice seeds and the rush seeds from Better with Add-ons do not work with this. Now, I don't know about tea leaves. I'm going to try tea leaves probably between episodes in my test world or something. But if we can't automate those, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And I am going to take those cloches, I'm going to plug them up to the storage system and set up drawers and stuff like that between episodes. But we might as well go ahead and start automatically farming stuff. So, but anyways, you can see we've got a piece of heated Hochutetsu. And we should have Tamahagane as well. I'm going to go ahead and get 2 pieces of this. Stuff does take a little while to smelt. May end up adding like another oven as well, I don't know. Might be a little bit overkill. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we need to do is the Hochutetsu. We actually have to fold this, and you use sticks for this. So we're going to get once folded Hochutetsu, twice folded Hochutetsu, finished Hochutetsu. Okay, and that is the version that we actually use to craft things, like the yaw head, the half katana blade, as well as the nabe, which we're going to be getting into next episode. Now, the heated Tamahagane, we're also going to have to fold that one as well. For some reason, I was thinking there was another one that you did something. Okay, yeah, you only fold it once with the Tamahagane, then you have to wrap it in washi to get wrapped Tamahagane, and then you have to smelt it again to get reheated Tamahagane, and then fold it over again to get finished Tamahagane. Okay, so let me go get some washi. You can see there's actually quite a few steps involved with the metal processing. And that's why I was actually kind of sad to see that it wasn't really used within this pack for like anything, because like, you know, I can understand like skipping certain things in certain mods or whatever, you know, because there's a lot of content. But like that's one of my favorite things in Better with Add-ons. I love the metal processing system and everything, because you have all these like multi-blocks. I love in-world crafting. Like I think I think in-world crafting is underrated and underused. And it's probably the best thing that mods can do, because otherwise everything just turns into like a magic block system. And I think that's why I like Britannia so much, just because like there are no GUIs in Britannia. You know, even Britannia has a very good item sorting and automation system for like auto crafting and everything. You know, we started getting into it in Sprout and using it pretty extensively on there. And I love its item system. I love, you know, just so much about Britannia. And I think a lot of the reason is just because it has no GUIs. There's no magic blocks, you know, where you have like, you have a machine and you input fuel and you input items and things come out. You know, I don't know. I love in-world crafting. It's so good. Alright, so there's our 2 mulberry sheets, and go ahead and toss those in. And there we go. 18 washi. So easy to make at this point. Okay, so then we'll take our Tamahagane and just wrap it up. There's our wrapped Tamahagane. And then hopefully one of these are done, maybe. Not quite. Okay, so here is our first piece of reheated Tamahagane. And then take that with our stick, and there we go, our very first piece of finished Tamahagane. And, oh, apparently you can make plates that are not used for anything. It's kind of nifty. Would have been cool if there was a recipe for that somewhere. There's the wakizashi and the tanto. And I think the Hochutetsu makes the katana, yeah. Okay, and there is that. And I think we have everything that we need to make the nabe. Yeah, Tamahagane. Yes, okay. So I need 4 pieces of iron. I want to make this before we end out the episode. Next episode, we're going to get into teas. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to cheat the seeds in because there's no way to obtain them. Oh, I've got iron on me. Okay. So might as well. There is our nabe. Aha. Okay. And basically this thing is used for potion crafting, which, like I said, we're going to get into next episode. It's like a super potion making system. So you can actually get some pretty good buffs. There are debuffs that come with the buffs, but there are some pretty nice buffs from it, like saturation and stuff like that. So, like I said, I don't think anything really compares to our Between Lands stuff, because that stuff is just, it's way OP. Like, it's hard to beat the Between Lands brewing. But I still want to cover it because it is quite unique, and it's quite different from vanilla alchemy. And it's plus it's tea, right? And I'm actually drinking tea. That's most of what I drink is tea in real life. So, uh-oh. Skeletons fighting creepers. I need to get this area lit up, but I'm actually drinking masala chai right now. We usually have a pitcher of like cold brew masala chai in the fridge like all the time. It's probably the one thing that I miss most about being in Japan is tea. Surprisingly. I don't know, there's a lot of things I miss about being in Japan, but tea is one of the major things. Because like you go in restaurants there and they're not like Coke and Pepsi products, you know, you got tea and water. It's like the main thing. And then some of the places serve coffee. I mean, you could, every once in a while you find a place that does soft drinks, but it's rare, you know. And it's about like I've heard Europe is like they don't just drink soft drinks for, you know, everything. And if you order a soft drink, it's just like a little can or a bottle or something, and that's all you get. But anyways, I'm rambling. I'm going to end out this episode here. Next episode, we are going to, it won't take the entire episode, but we're going to finish covering the stuff that I want to cover with Better with Add-ons. We might make a katana and stuff, but I think for the most part, the katanas and stuff are cool. I just really wish they would have been like Age 1 or something that made a little bit more sense instead of being as late into the pack as they are. Honestly, the Dreadium katana, Abyssal Craft just has strong weapons. In general, it really does. So the Dreadium katana is actually a really good weapon too, but the katana is actually not bad. You know, it's better, I think, than a diamond sword would be. But I don't think there's anything in history that can live up to this sword with 33.5 damage. Unless I had like Avaritia Blade or something like that. So, but I do want to cover, as far as Better with Add-on stuff, I want to cover the Nabe. Which the Nabe is tea brewing and stuff like that. So I want to cover that system. And then I also want to cover the Exy saplings. So just so you guys can see them. If you've never played around with them, they're actually really, really cool. So I want to show you guys that. I have some around as decoration, but I want to show you what they actually do. What they're actually intended to be used for. So, and then if I think of anything else I want to cover, we might cover a little bit of odd and end stuff. But then after that, we are going to be doing cleanup for this age before we start back into the distillation in the following episode. So we'll cover the redstone engine, the windmill. We might even get back into a little bit of liquid distillation because the stuff that we have to cover really isn't going to take, I don't think, but like half the episode. So we'll probably start working on the next phase of liquid processing, which will be the big multi-blocks for the distillation towers. And then the following episode after that, we'll do our steam power setup. So, because we're going to need steam anyways. So we might as well go ahead and start that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And if you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.